Hello everyone, welcome to CRM Systems Group's presentation of Sage CRM, a business process workflow engine. In today's session we're going to talk about the workflow capabilities of Sage CRM and how it differs from other solutions, and then I'm going to just quickly get in and give you an example of how the solution works. Sage CRM's business process workflow engine is made up of two parts. The first one is the actual workflow engine, which is a flowchart-based business process engine that will actually step a user through a process from start to finish, including all permutations and combinations that exist within it. It's rules-based, process-based, and it will actually step the user through without them having to know exactly when or where to do different things. It's complemented by an escalation engine, which is an eye in the sky that's always watching and always knowing and always doing, which will trigger different events based on conditions. So, for example, if this happens, then do that sort of thing. Most CRM applications that are out there don't have what we call the workflow engine. They have what we refer to as the escalation engine, and that's perfectly fine. The escalation engine is an important part of it, but it really comes into its own and really gains a lot of value when you have the actual workflow engine on top of it. Unfortunately, there's a bit of confusion because those solutions refer to escalations as workflow when in fact they really aren't workflow at all. So how do they compare? Well, Sage CRM has that true workflow-based process engine, flowchart-based. Other CRM applications generally do not. CRM has the escalations engine, which other CRM applications, many of them do have something similar or comparable. Good, but not great. Easy to use, yes. Sage CRM's tools are very easy to use, which I'll show you in just a moment. And Sage CRM has a drag and drop workflow flowchart builder, which CRM applications other than Sage CRM generally do not, because they don't have that function at all. Other solutions, you can sometimes gain real workflow capabilities by adding on a third-party bolt-on or add-on to the solution, but of course that provides extra complication, cost, and support challenges. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Here I have a sample company in my CRM application, and this is my list of opportunities for that account. There are none currently. And what we'll find is that over here on the New Opportunity button, this is our introduction into the workflow. This is the first step of workflow, is create a new opportunity. When I click that, we'll go ahead and see the new opportunity screen. Now, what fields are presented and what default values are set and which fields are read-only and required, all of these things are set by the workflow itself. And so I really just have to complete a few fields. You can see, for example, that the stage is set read-only to lead. The workflow has done that because it knows at this point that's what the value should be. But it's also allowing me to set the priority, and I can choose who it's assigned to, and I can choose when it should be closed by. But this field is required. Again, that's controlled by workflow. When I save my new opportunity, we're going to very quickly see that the workflow area, which is here in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, has given me 4 possibilities. This is the first point where the workflow engine is now coaching me through what, as a salesperson, do I need to do, should I be doing at this particular stage. So you can see that I could qualify this opportunity, submit a proposal or quotation, I could reassign it to another salesperson, or I could put it on hold. These are decisions that your organization makes. What are the different steps that are available to the user at any given time? Now, as an example, if I go ahead and click qualify, the workflow also is going to control, okay, so if you've qualified this opportunity, then what questions do I want to ask, which things should be required, and what things can the user amend at that particular time? So you can see that I'm being forced to assign it to a user. I'm not having to necessarily change it, but I have to make sure there is one, and it's given me the opportunity to define a value for the opportunity, which I was never able to do before. And save. And then we go on to the next step. Now that it's qualified, you can see now that I have different options. I can start negotiating, I can do a product demo, etc. And each time through, I can click on one of these buttons, such as proposal submitted, and the system is again going to ask additional questions, collect additional information, or perform additional tasks. And that's how the flowchart format component of the workflow engine works. Now there's also the escalation engine, which would be in the background monitoring to make sure that things are happening on a timely basis. And that's also very useful. And that's tied in, at least in part, to a tab that appears on the workflow called tracking. And the tracking tab here will actually keep track of what's been done to the opportunity, when and by whom, and how much time has transpired between each action therein. Okay? This will become important a little bit later when we look at some more details. So now let's go look at how this is all managed on an administrative level. Here we have the Sage CRM sample opportunity workflow. This comes out of the box, and it's there as an example to you of a starting point for defining an opportunity workflow. I should mention that you can attach workflow to anything within Sage CRM, any type of record anywhere within the system, but we'll start here with opportunities. I can go ahead and enable this workflow to be edited, and you can see that this is a flowchart, just like you would see if you were to sit down at a boardroom table and sketch out, how do we do sales at my organization? And if your answers were that I create a lead and then I qualify it and then I negotiate on terms and then I submit a proposal, etc., then this could be a workflow for you. But the beauty of it is that you can build the workflow however you'd like, and you can do it by dragging and dropping. Notice that some of these things might look familiar. So earlier when we created our opportunity, we did a new opportunity, and then we had a chance to qualify it or submit a proposal, and I chose to qualify it. And then once I did that, we had options to negotiate, submit a proposal, or do a demo. And I clicked on Proposal Submitted. And you can see that we're then progressing through that workflow. Now, if you want to make changes to the workflow, it's relatively straightforward. For example, that new opportunity that was created, notice that I can qualify and submit a proposal, but there's no option here for me to lose this opportunity. Let's say I called them up and they weren't available, or the business had closed down, or something of that fashion. So if I wanted to add that option, just as a quick example for you, I can do that. All I have to do is go and find the rule here on the left-hand side. You can see there's lost. I drag it over. I drop it onto the lead state. The screen will reload. There it is. And now I can say that when I click the lost button, I would like that to go to the closed state. And I've just amended the workflow. So at a beginning level, that's how complicated it can be to create and modify workflows. And of course, you can do that the day you implement CRM, or 3 months later, or 5 years later. You can drag and drop and make changes as you see fit. So that is the workflow-based, flowchart-based workflow engine as a starting point. So now let's talk about escalations. There are a number of different types of escalations in the system. One of them is called a notification, and a notification can be based on a rule. If this happens, then display a message on the screen, or then send an email to a certain person. There can be other types of escalation, such as if the opportunity is assigned to Joe, then update a value on the opportunity to something, or update an external application, or send out a text message. There's lots of different possible options. I have one notification here on the opportunity entity within CRM, and this one has to do with notifying people when an opportunity is assigned to them. And if I go ahead and click on it here, we can see some details of the rule. So the name of the notification is Oppo is assigned to you, and what happens is that if the opportunity assigned to not the website. The way that I have things set up is that opportunities are automatically created from the website, but they're not assigned to someone. Then a sales manager will go ahead and assign them out to people. And here, so once they change it from the website to someone else, that's going to trigger the event. And then what's going to happen is that a new email is going to go out, and it's going to go to whoever the opportunity is assigned to. That's what we see right here. Okay, so if I assigned it to salesperson 1, the email will go to salesperson 1. The email is going to be from info@CRM Systems. It's going to have this as the subject, and then this down here is the contents of the email. And these different fields here, these are merge fields, and you can see all the different merge fields that are available, and you can insert them into your email. It'll merge the contents before sending off the email to the user assigned to the opportunity. And it's just that easy to create this type of an escalation within Sage CRM. There are, of course, other types of escalations, as I mentioned earlier, but that is an introduction to what's possible and just how complex it is. So that brings me to the end of today's session. I hope that you found this useful. If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact us by web, by email, on social media, or by telephone, and we will be able to assist you as best as possible. Thank you.